Hey everyone, we'll just do till 5 after as per we have, just to see if anybody else pops on. All right. Can still hear me? Everything sounds good. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So we won't start with a meditation as we're diving into marketing and social media. So this conversation can go, oh my gosh, in so many directions. So we'll see kind of like how and where it goes. I always like to start with the number one thing, your name. So I have such a perfect example. My two businesses, well, two of my three businesses, um, Frik-shuhn yoga and coaching. So Frik-shuhn is Frik dash SHUHN. Um, oh, can I tell you, like, how many people have spelled the name wrong? Even for like bank transfers for receiving money. Um, for my website, because my website is on frik-shuhn.com. So the idea was, this is genius. I had just finished teacher training. It was 2014, and my partner at the time and I built a rock climbing gym slash yoga studio. So this is awesome. The cave that you climbed in was underneath the studio. So it's super cool. And so Frik-shuhn, the idea was like, it's the phonetic spelling of friction, like the actual word friction. And then also like just me as a person. I always like identified as like Kali-esque, like Kali, the goddess of destruction. So I always felt like that. Also, I create friction. Like if you work with me, we need to like bring that stuff up. right? It's time to look at your shadows, and it's time to like shine a light on them, because they're really not bad or terrible or need to be hidden. It's time to bring it all up and then like move forward from that place. So Frik-shuhn kind of suited in all the aspects. So even when we moved on from the gym, and I continued to keep that name, I felt like it suited me. The mistake is just spelling it. Like, if I spelt friction the way you actually know friction as, then great. And then just even that last H, like that's the proper spelling of it. But when people spell friction, Frikshun, then they're going to miss the website, the website, because the domain is wrong. And I remember trying to buy it and it was gone. So it goes to another company. So that was a bummer. So then I've just acquired, right, my new business, Modern Yoga Teacher. And the logo, like, I'm not redoing or rebranding it. I love it. It's the logo. This is when I know I've talked a lot, because then I start blah, 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 blah. The logo is like a lotus flower plus a power button. So like a power button on a computer, because the focus is really the focus was being a modern yoga teacher, and creating online offerings. And it's Modern Yoga Teacher. That means even in 3 to 10 years, the name still applies, right? So it's 2014. I'm creating a business. I'm a nurse and I am offering yoga and yoga studios. So guess who's not offering yoga? Frik-shuhn Yoga. Guess who is? Colin Vosberg. So with the first name of Frik-shuhn Yoga, it was like, well, how are people going to connect Colin Vosberg to Frik-shuhn Yoga? They're not. So I then changed it to Frik-shuhn Yoga by Colin. So then I've got an abnormal name or a unique name, right? There's not a lot of Colins in the world. So that was helpful in the fact that like it's Frik-shuhn Yoga by Colin instead of like Frik-shuhn Yoga by Jane, right? There's more people named Jane than Colin. So then that, I would drive up. I had orange was actually my color at the time. I would drive up in my orange Jeep or my orange pickup, and it would say Frik-shuhn Yoga by Colin on it. So then I would go into the studio and I'd be teaching as Colin Vosberg. So it's pretty easy to connect those two. Oh, clearly that's Colin's business. And then I rebranded again to my current logo, which it was the most interesting situation. I hired my sister gave me the name of a guy, and I hired him, and he created the logo. And what he did was he took a logo and then he edited it. And then that was in September 2014. And by I think November, the logo, it hit. Like, it was everywhere, including in Chilliwack. Like on Facebook, there was these like I forget what it was called, but it was like they did like bracelets and stuff like that, and it was my logo. And there was even a mala company in Chilliwack that had my logo. There was a company just in Abbotsford, which is a town 20 minutes away, that was doing yoga retreats, and they had my logo, and I knew the woman. And so I was like, clearly needed to shift this. So a couple lessons from someone who, I feel like at this point, I can't really change my name, but I could have in the beginning had I not been so attached to it. So what it was a woman doing yoga. She was in tree pose, and then she's surrounded by a lotus flower. And then underneath was Frik-shuhn Yoga by Colin. So it was really easy to steal the logo. And when I like messaged people, especially when it first started, everybody asked me, is it trademarked? No, it's not. So too bad. So I started seeing that everywhere, and people were like, it's on like stock photo, like it's super accessible, and this is why everybody likes it. So that guy I mean, he could have been smart and like he could have trademarked it. I could have trademarked it, sold it. Anyways, make sure that you integrate the logo into the name. Because if you look at my logo now, Frik-shuhn, I wanted something from the original. So I took the girl that's doing tree pose and I put her in between Frick and Shun. And so now it's Frik-shuhn. And then that's when I rebranded, and that's when I had started going to Tony Robbins and recognizing like I need to have a niche. I need to be clear on what I'm offering. And so I was no longer Frik-shuhn Yoga by Colin. I wanted to create a yoga school. And I wanted to be a little bit like SYI. I wasn't working for them or even knew of them at the time, but I wanted to be the school and have multiple teachers running my teacher trainings for me. So I needed to remove Colin from that. And so then I was doing a lot of coaching, and I do a lot of coaching through the yoga philosophies. So I then became Frik-shuhn Yoga and Coaching. So you can always rebrand. Okay. Modern Yoga Teacher, before it was Modern Yoga Teacher, had like 3 different names. It was like Grow Your Yoga Business. And then they could only get so many characters into the Twitter account. So it was Grow Yoga Biz. And then that became the name. And then it became Modern Yoga Teacher. And then again, taught by Ryan to me, the old owner of the business, he didn't stick with his ideal client. And he started offering the program to like anybody that was a spiritual business owner. So then he changed to Modern Healer. And he thinks that was a big mistake because he expanded his niche. And then it wasn't so much like yoga business focused, it was spiritual business. And that's a big platform. So if we can add like all these things to like, don't even do this. Don't even waste your time doing these things. Like, be clear. That's what I want to offer right off the bat for your marketing. Now, when you do that, has everybody here heard of Canva? Canva.com? Okay, great. Anybody that might be watching the recording, if you haven't, feel free to check it out. You could create your logo on there, right? You get a template and you can change everything. And yet they still don't teach you like some of these concepts. That's why I'm sharing, like get your picture in there so that it can't just be cropped out if you create a picture that somebody else wants. So Canva is really helpful. And one of the things that is important is like your brand, right? As marketing is your brand. So what are your colors? Frik-shuhn is black and pink. And it's like a hot pink, right? Modern Yoga Teacher is like this tealy blue and orange. And so whenever we're creating any kind of posts or anything, we're using our colors. So I'm just going to open up a couple things in the background so that I can share with you. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share it to here. I hear the rain coming back. So let me know if things get a little too loud or whatever. Okay. So this is Canva. They offered a new look for the first like 1 million people that signed up for it, or 500,000 or something like this. So if it looks different than yours, that's why we did this like beta try for them. So it might look different, but still kind of the same. So what we have here is my daughter is a big part of Modern Yoga Teacher and Frik-shuhn. She is my social media content manager, and she is on point. So she's actually running the social media portion of the Modern Yoga Teacher Mastermind, because she gets so many views. She's amazing. So a lot of what we're looking at is actually her stuff, not necessarily mine anymore. Okay. She's been running Frik-shuhn's social media for maybe 2 years now, and she's been very serious about it. We put her through a couple programs so that she, like, to increase her knowledge. And so for the last 6 months, she's been like really stepping things up. So what you'll see is she runs, so we have a business together called I Am Blessed Mala Beads. Okay. We have Frik-shuhn Yoga and Coaching. We have Modern Yoga Teacher. My sister and I do a podcast together called Spiritual Sisters with Sass. And then my sister owns multiple companies as well. And one of the companies that she owns is called Laser Quit. So just a quick background on what's going on. And this is how Saren, my daughter, can keep everything very clear. There's a brand section in Canva. And what you do is you go in and you put your logo in there, and then it'll take all the colors and it'll mark them out. So let's look at Frik-shuhn. And we've got them all marked here. So when I work with somebody, specifically right now, I'm working with somebody who does Facebook ads. They want to know my brand colors. So I actually just send them the whole palette. But when I'm making buttons on emails, I'll come in here and I copy this color from here and paste it into the email so that all the buttons are my pink. And then, I mean, I have black as my color, so that's really helpful. But if we go to, and fonts are important as well, so that we are staying consistent with our brand. So here's Modern Yoga Teacher. This is the color palette. So that's that tealy kind of blue color, green, I don't know, that I was talking about, and then the orange. And I have 2 oranges. And so this is what I put in for the button colors on emails and such. Okay. We have the logo uploaded. We have fonts uploaded. We haven't done a lot of this other stuff because it came in after, but I can share this palette specifically with another company. Why does this help? Well, while we're creating posts, it will help us to be, let's see where okay, so I am loaded in as Frik-shuhn right now. So while we're creating posts, right, we can use my brand colors so that you can clearly see what my brand colors are as we're moving through. Now, you'll notice that on here, we've been working on this for quite some time, as I shared. So we are clear on what we want when you come to my profile, what we want the face to look like, right? We clearly have 3 whites, 3 pinks, and then a reel or some kind of a picture posted in between those. Okay, when we go to Modern Yoga Teacher, we're not there right now. We're more concerned about posting because we've taken over someone else's account. So we just want to show up, and we're really playing right now with like what is hitting and what isn't. But there again, you can see that we have the Modern Yoga Teacher colors in all of our posts. This one was posted on Frik-shuhn, so you can see it just is the same, but we changed the colors. It's also posted on I Am Blessed, which we'll look at in a minute, just so you can get a little bit of an idea. This is for the marketing branding aspect of things. We're still not even diving into like social media or Instagram specifically, okay? And then you can see where we took over. And this is Ryan. This is the old owner. And so you can see where he's more in here. And they did things a little bit different, right? Kind of went away from the brown colors, but stuck yellow and orange, maybe some greenish, bluey, right? So you can see it's a bit of a different feel. Yeah, just going through. Okay, and then we'll look at I Am Blessed just for an example, because these are all 3 businesses. Oops. set up in a different way. So the way that Sari has set up I Am Blessed is we have a product picture. We have like a picture or a reel, and then we have a graphic. And so it's been green, so her changing to white, ooh, she's probably going to start doing something where they're checkered now. But that's kind of how, that is how we have hers set up, or I Am Blessed set up. Again, as we're trying to figure out what works for modern yoga teacher, we're not as worried about this aesthetic approach right now, as we're just like finding things that work. Are reels doing better? Are pictures doing better? Like what do people want? What sometimes we'll get like on the aesthetic versus functional, like how to do postures. The first one just like went huge, and then the second one was like no traction at all. So we're kind of playing with right now, like what works. So here you can these are examples of how the branding and marketing are important, so that you can see like clearly this is anything from I Am Blessed. And then once that one's white. Once you are, oh, I see what she's doing. I got it. Okay. Look at that. That once you have clients that know you, they'll automatically associate your brand with those colors. Someone messaged me the other day, like, I just thought I would show you this, and it was a pink Jeep. And this is someone I've never talked to before. So they've clearly been following me for some time, interacting with my posts, etc., and know that I love pink as my color. So it's kind of neat, right? She saw a pink Jeep and she thought about me. Right? So your branding and your marketing, really, really important aspects of what you're offering. I'm just going to stop sharing on there and bring it back. Very important to be clear also with your fonts. So my daughter just started working with my sister for her laser quit business. And that was like the onboarding is like, I need your logo, I need your colors, and then you need to pick a font, because what she did was went through all of Merity's, that's my sister's name, all of Merity's other posts to see what was performing well and what wasn't really performing well. And she noticed that she uses different fonts on her reels and stuff like that. So she wants to make it very consistent wherever it is, to the fact that you literally could look at a Times New Roman essay and think about laser quit, right? Like that's kind of how those neural pathways work. So little things will remind clients of you, and that's kind of cool. So yes, so moving forward from there is, I mean, I think social media is important to any business, any business. When I was in Chilliwack, like I was known in Chilliwack and Abbotsford as like the kids yoga, and then the meditation, and like yoga, and then coaching. And then I kind of had this like upset where the kids left. I left my partner. I sold everything and I came to Costa Rica. I went to Peru first, and then I came to Costa Rica, and I stayed here. And I remember I was booked by a retreat center to teach a retreat. Oh. Okay. I came to Costa Rica. I was booked by a retreat center to run a retreat, and part of the agreement was that I would bring people with me. So that was fine and dandy, but I didn't go home. And when I didn't go home, you know, I was still relying on people in Chilliwack as a part of my business. And funny enough, it's still a very big part of my business, people from Chilliwack. But what I noticed was like, okay, I'm now like a citizen of the world. And it's pretty hard to get people from Chilliwack to come to Costa Rica. Like that's a big commitment, right? So the people that, sometimes it was hard to get them to go to a yoga class. It's pretty hard to get them to come to Costa Rica and spend thousands of dollars on a retreat and flights and all of that. So I definitely needed to expand. As we can hear, Sarah is in Costa Rica and decided to do a teacher training where she is. So having a social media presence, not just in Canada, not just in the States, not just in Europe, but also in Costa Rica is very beneficial in general. A lot of people come to Costa Rica, so I don't need to get them while they're here, but I do want them to get to know me before they come. Right? Because if they're wondering what to do in Costa Rica, they could come and do a retreat. They could come and do a teacher training. And, or what I do find is a lot of people reach out and ask me, like, where should they go? And so it's like a bonus that I'll share, like, well, what are you looking for? And then guide them on their way here, because anything of value, then maybe when they're coming to Costa Rica again and having a hard time, they might think it'd be great to come and, I don't know, check out my retreat center when and if I ever have one. So the presence, I think, is best felt on social media because it's where almost everybody is. I don't know many people that aren't. So then knowing your ideal client, you'll know what platform your ideal client is on. Right now, my nephew, who is 13, just got onto Facebook. He's already on Instagram, I think probably TikTok, but he just joined Facebook. And do you know why he joined Facebook? So he could talk to the old people like myself and my sister. So, and then I'm like, well, I'm more on Instagram than anything. So what does this even mean? There's still a lot. There's still a lot of traction on Facebook. It's one of the only platforms where we can have events, where we can have links to all of our stuff, where we can literally have a page that's specific to our business, where we can interact with people, where we can go and post, like schedule posts. Like Facebook is still a very foundational part of social media. But if you're wanting to work with like 23-year-olds, they're probably like not on Facebook, right? They might be. My daughter's on Facebook, but she also runs I Am Blessed and knows that her ideal client is older. Yet we get so much traction on Facebook. There's still a lot of like people joining groups. It's just, I think that Facebook is like key and foundational, even though there's still not a lot of, I don't get like a ton of interaction, but I get a lot of messages. Like I saw your podcast today and blah, 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 blah. Cause we put it on, we do it live on Facebook and then we upload it to other platforms. So it surprises me all the time. Like I have a group called it's called, we've rebranded all these things, Radiant Inclusivity, and it has like 1,100 members in it. Modern Yoga Teacher has one that has over 7,000 members in it. Sometimes they're super active. Like if we didn't censor what people were posting in that 7,000 person group, it would be all self-promotion. Like, because we get self-promotion all the time and I just like say no, because it's not a group for self-promotion. It's a group for like business and that kind of stuff and learning skills as a yoga teacher. So we have the approved post things going on there. Whereas some of the other groups that I'm in, I'm constantly still getting tagged about online teacher trainings. And do you know anyone that's in Costa Rica or someone running retreats and blah, 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 blah. So I believe that Facebook is a really important and foundational piece to social media, but it's not the space where you're going to get a bunch of likes and a bunch of things that you're looking for. Yet the content is really getting out there. So I think it's important. If you don't want it and you don't have it, that's cool too. Because another thing I get a lot of is, I don't have Facebook. I don't have Facebook. I don't have Facebook. Fair enough. Great. So also, pretty much every platform posts to Facebook as well. So as I post to Instagram, it automatically posts to Facebook. I can also take my Instagram and post it to TikTok. I can take my Instagram and post it to YouTube. I can post it to Pinterest. And trying to do all of the things can be really exhausting. So TikTok for me, it hasn't blown up. I mean, I went viral on the worst post I could ever go viral on. I think it's got like 200,000 views or 100,000 views. And it's me falling out of a pose. And I mean, I put it on there when I was doing a teacher training, and it's titled like, you can teach poses that you don't fully have, something like that. And I'm falling out of grasshopper. Of course, that's the one that would go viral, right? Like, come on. And it's just, I don't spend a lot of time on TikTok. Yeah, it's just not my jam. So, and neither was Instagram for the longest time until I took an Instagram course. And then I was just like, now for me, it's Instagram. That's what I love. That's where a lot of my business comes from, but still Facebook a lot as well. So when you know your ideal client, then you'll know which platform to focus on. Okay, you can have them all. I do. And you can have them all kind of go in, and moving forward, our idea is like Thursdays, because we have routine. On Thursdays, we plan social media. And so now that we're clear on a lot of like the non-content posting stuff, now we're going to start posting. So on Thursday, I will have a time where I'll go onto Instagram and I'll download the reels and I'll screenshot the graphics, and then I post them too. Ready? YouTube Shorts and YouTube posts, LinkedIn, right? Because you kind of have to alter everything to be on these other platforms. LinkedIn, because Modern Yoga Teacher is a business coaching brand. And then I just am not into Twitter. I've got Twitter accounts for all of it, but I really just, it never hit for me. And then there's TikTok. And right now, TikTok, I mean, the algorithm told me that that posts are hitting better than videos right now. So I started posting that, and then I do YouTube Shorts and YouTube posts. So on Thursdays, I post like several. And what I do is I go to the graphic, and then I screenshot the graphic, and then I go to YouTube and I post, and then I copy and paste whatever the caption is, and I post that. Then I go to LinkedIn, then I post to LinkedIn. Then I go to some whatever else I've got going, I post there, and then I do the next thing. Then I download the video from Instagram, and then I go and I upload it to TikTok, and I copy and paste the caption. So I put it on TikTok, and I go to YouTube Shorts, and then I post on there, but they have less time than Instagram. So it's like, pick one and then be good at that. Okay, YouTube Shorts, one of the bonuses that I didn't think about YouTube. So I have a sponsor for AA, and she is a real estate agent, and she just took a social media course. She's older, she's like 65 or something. And she told me the bonus about YouTube is that YouTube is also a search engine, right? And that it doesn't really go away. So if somebody 10 years from now is looking up, I don't know, yoga teacher training, and then somehow they get linked to Colin, like they'll see it, it'll pop up for them. Whereas it's not, they're not going to show you a TikTok video from 10 years ago. So it's also a library. right? And if you focus on YouTube, then you could really like create a lot of community, and you have the option to make money, but you have the option to make money on any of the platforms, right? Once you hit influencer status, people are starting to ask you to share, because influencer marketing is actually creates more of an income than ads do. Right now, influencer marketing, I just took an influencer marketing course, and it said that for every dollar that you spend in influencer marketing, you make $5. That's not even guaranteed with Facebook and Instagram ads. And Facebook and Instagram ads used to like make a lot of money. And now, again, it's just such a saturated market that you just have to pay more. You have to pay more to really hit. And sometimes I just stop running ads because I watch thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars just go without anybody signing up for teacher training. Right. And the thing about it is it's like the more the ads are out there, the more they're putting impressions on people. And they have it down to a science where someone needs to be impressed upon over 17,000 times before they even start to recognize or trust your brand, where they move from ice cold to cold. And so I mean, that the impressions are when like it's over in the corner of Facebook, it shows up on your story, it's in your messenger, it shows up as you're scrolling. Like each one of those is an impression. It's a lot of impressions, right? 17,000. That's like, I get these analytics all the time of like how many impressions went out in the day. And I just, the more I work with people, the more I'm told like, more money, more money, more money. I'm running an ad right now for Modern Yoga Teacher for the 3-day business course that starts tomorrow, our workshop that starts tomorrow. And he told me like, not only is it cost, I'm super transparent with my stuff. Not only is it costing me $1,500 US to work with him, he wanted me for the week to put $1,500 US into the marketing for a free event. It's like, oh, okay, there goes 3,000 US, right? So you have to pay to play if you want brand recognition, or you go viral. And the chances of going viral means you need to be posting, and you need to be like up in the see, here it goes, blah, blah, blah. All the words are gone. You have to be really in with the trends. And again, hooking people just like that. Like you see it as you're scrolling and it grabs you. And for me, just my experience, it's a lot. It's a lot to just like grab someone right off the bat. 3 seconds I have to get you to pay attention to me, or I can spend $3,000. And this gentleman that I'm working with, who actually worked with Modern Yoga Teacher before to grow it to the brand that it was, like he is very dialed in. He is very like on top of it. He also worked with Modern Yoga Teacher for 5 or 6 years, and their pixel, don't know if anybody knows what that is, but that's like a little, just think of it as like a dot on everyone that interacts with Modern Yoga Teacher. Their pixel is very dialed in, because what it does is like calls people in that either have interacted with Modern Yoga Teacher or whatever it is that Modern Yoga Teacher is putting out there. And so it means that the ads aren't going to my sister, who does not want to run a yoga business. Right? She is almost officially a yoga teacher now that she took yoga teacher training. But she doesn't want to be a teacher. She doesn't want a yoga business. So if my ads go to her, it's wasting money. So it's really getting clear on the audience, which can take a lot of time and money as well. So the pay to play means that you need to have revenue. Right? Like, where's the money coming from to be paying to get the ads out to the people that you want them to? The biggest, like most productive way to get out there is word of mouth. I have one client that I coach And she has brought me 6 clients, one of them her husband, one of them her daughter, and then all the rest have been friends that she has either worked with or friends in her life. So word of mouth and full warm audience, because she's like, oh my gosh. I mean, she says I changed her life. She changed her life, not me. But that word of mouth is like working. It's like, yeah, it works way better than anything else. Because when people come to me, they're all ready to buy. They're like, okay, like send me the bill, and where do I sign up? Which is really, it's quite sweet. Yeah. So word of mouth, both good and bad, by the way. Right? I know we're in like a cancel culture, so you don't want to be putting out bad stuff that like gets it so that you're kind of smeared. But when drama started, like someone says you suck, a lot of people will come and check out what you're offering just because they didn't know who you were, and now they do, regardless of if it was because you're awesome or because you are not awesome. I mean, I would say that's a we, and I can't speak from that place. I can speak from I. When I look at people's reviews, I know that like if they have a ton of bad reviews, then maybe something's wrong. But I'll check out the bad reviews, and I can usually see that, oh, well, clearly that person was having a bad day. Or, like something happened. I would doubt, like, if I keep seeing that it's really expensive, it's really expensive, it's really expensive, it's really expensive, and that's all that someone has to say about a thing, then that's not really a big turnoff for me. But if I see like it's dirty, I don't know, just as an example, it's dirty, it's dirty, it's dirty. Ugh. To me, that's like that's a bad comment I don't want to go to. I'm really picky about like my environment. But for some people, if it's like nice staff, but there was cobwebs, which is very common here, and then that won't bother a lot of people. So yeah, sometimes bad word of mouth, bad as a label, actually gets you some attention as well. Any attention is better than no attention, is what I've heard a lot. All right, so I just want to see how this is landing before we start to dive more into, I want to go into social media, but I also want to touch on like how to get your offerings out there and like what to do around that. So how's everyone feeling? Any questions, anything to contribute? All right.
I do have one random little question actually. And I guess I'm thinking of it more like from, I love all of these concepts and stuff, but then my brain immediately goes to like, well, how am I going to like actually get the content for that? Because sometimes it's nerve-wracking to like post yourself in videos and stuff. And I like was kind of looking through what you were showing us. I was like, oh, like she has videos up there, she's talking, it's her. So it's like finding like, and also finding the time to like do all, like you have to wear so many hats, so like balancing all of that, or like I don't know, it's kind of like a scary thought, but it's exciting, but it's a little intimidating as well.
So like yes to all of it. In 2017, when this then became my full time, I mean, I think I can find it really, really quickly. I was not in the best place. Like I shared, I was in a place of bringing in high finances. I decided that I'm just going to share my screen for a quick second and continue to talk. I decided like I'm going to put this out there, and this is me. Like, I mean, I think I look 1000% different than I did in this. And I can tell you here, I was not happy. Okay. I was heavier than I've ever been. Not that that matters, because I really think that coming from to create space for inclusivity, you know, it helps that I don't fit the modern, the typical yoga teacher of today, which is why I always felt like I didn't fit in. I was not thin. I was not young. I felt like I didn't hit at all for who people wanted to come and learn yoga from. I mean, my body was flexible, but it didn't do birds of paradise or anything that I see has gone viral on Instagram, right? Instagram asana is how I call it when we're in yoga teacher training, because that's just not who your clients are, unless they are, right? Most people are not that flexible. They're afraid to come to yoga because they're not flexible. They have no idea, like, that's why you go to yoga. They're not 100 pounds. Like, they're not all these things. So you have 80% of your class is beginners, and they're coming, and if they could be actually quite intimidated by your profile. So as a yoga teacher, I was the opposite. I'm like, I don't fit. Even now I have people, so I work with a retreat center called Anamaya. It's one of the top 10 yoga retreat centers in Costa Rica. And I mean, they're changing it because I have complained more than enough. Like, this is so exclusive, right? What you've got pictured is like a bunch of thin white women doing poses that most of us can't do. And when I had a client that wanted to come to Anamaya, she said absolutely not, because she was 56 years old and she weighed 230 pounds. And she's like, and she was 5'4". And she's like, I am not coming there. And I'm like, but that's not, I swear that's not who's in the class. Like, I swear it's actually a good thing she didn't, because honestly, that was who was in that retreat. It was full of thin, flexible, young women. And so I'm actually kind of glad that it worked out that way. But to go on and be like, I'm a yoga teacher right here was so hard. And this is one of the first videos that I made. And it was like really good information, life-changing in my opinion. In fact, if you guys go to my page here, Frik-shuhn Yoga and Coaching, remember I was talking about getting clear on your stories? This pinned or featured post, this actually talks about how to get clear on your stories. So go check it out if you want. And I just felt like such a fraud. Like, who's going to want to come to me? I remember one of my friends actually that has come to Costa Rica told me that she had no interest in yoga because she felt that a lot of the people that went didn't look like they got a workout at all. Wow. Wow. I mean, basically, she was telling me, because you're the teacher, and she was very fitness based. And I taught a lot of like restorative and yin, and she felt like she wouldn't get a workout if she came, which she wouldn't, but good. She didn't need more of a workout. She needed to chill out. Anyways, that was my opinion. So I can tell you, I probably did this video like 20 times. And then I was like, stop, because I'd get so far, like 20 minutes in, and then I'd say something. So I would stop it. And then I'd start again. And while it was helping, it was also making things worse. So way back, look at this, 2017, way back then, I started posting all these videos. They were so hard. And I would always make a comment about my hair. Oh, my hair. Oh, this. Oh, that. My daughter even did a compilation one time. She made me a video and sent it to me. And it was every time I went live and how I commented on my hair. So it means showing up. And, you know, routine, as I said, like in the first lecture, is a very important part of what you're doing, because I see it like this. You know, we show up and we have all these ideas, but they're out here like this. I got to do this. I got to get a website. I got to get social media. I got to post. I got to do this. I got to get a contract. I've got to join Yoga Alliance. Like, it's just like all over the place, right? And I always say that when you work with me, it's bringing it into focus. It's like all the things, but getting clear on what needs to be done now, what needs to be done later, what doesn't need to be done at all and is just distracting, so that you can be clear and actually move forward instead of being all over the place, right? I'm writing an anatomy book and I thought, oh, it'll take a couple months. And I started writing it and I was like, no, this is probably a couple years because now I'm illustrating it too. I don't even know how that happened. And so while I'm like in it and making it, guess what? Life and all the other things are coming up. I bought another business. I'm doing this. I got to post. I got to make videos. I got to show up and do this and be on this and do that. So on Wednesday nights, I have 3 hours that I spend on the anatomy book. Because the one thing is that I know I'm not getting anywhere if I don't do it. And if I do it even for 3 hours a night, that's 3 hours I didn't do last week, you know? And so I will get to it eventually, but I need to have a routine and I need to make sure that I'm posting on social media and that I'm meeting with my team and, you know, that we're doing all the things that need to be done. So routine is very important for that. And then just doing it. The more that you do it, the easier it becomes. Like you did not get born walking, right? You didn't just come out of your mom's womb and then like run over and go pick up a cigarette, right? Like instead, it was like you were born and you couldn't even hold up your head. So you had to develop muscles to hold your big head up because it was bigger than the rest of your body. Right. And then as those muscles develop, then you learn to like push up and roll over and crawl. And then eventually you started to stand and then you started to walk, but you weren't great at it. You smashed your face 27 times, right? You cried, you hurt yourself, you fell off things, you fell downstairs. Like there was so many lessons in learning how to walk that, I mean, I know it was literally like 1 year ago. I was teaching a teacher training. I don't know what I did, but I just kept walking. I walked right over like something that was about this far off the ground and I fell and I'm like 44 years old. So even at 44, I still have some work to do with my walking. So if you can just be kind with yourself, right? You're not going to be the world's best yoga teacher in the world tomorrow. Okay. You're not going to be the world's best yoga teacher tomorrow. And you're not probably going to be comfortable posting live videos or even non-live videos of yourself tomorrow as well. So you're your worst critic. It's starting to rain again. So,
Oh no. Can still hear you good though.
okay. It's starting to rain, so it's jumping around again. You're your worst critic. So, I mean, the advice I would have is like, don't go back and watch your videos and pick them apart because you will always find something wrong. You're going to stumble your words. Just remember, be authentic and be vulnerable. Because then you can be like, oh, I really want to erase this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep going. And even just like that addressing will support other teachers that are just going live for the first time themselves as well. So that's the thing is you're the face of your brand. And that gets more interaction than anything else. Like we're posting videos of like how to create hooks, or we're posting graphics on how to create hooks for social media, how to go viral for social media. Now, if I go live or if I just like create a video and I say those same things to somebody, that's going to get more views and more interaction than the graphics that I showed you the other just on Modern Yoga Teacher. They want you. I'll post for the longest time. So I don't really go on social media too much, like for my own personal use. My scrolling is business oriented. So the accounts that I follow, as much as I would love to follow everyone that follows me, The accounts that I follow are so that my explore page or the things that come to me are relevant to what I'm posting. It's where I get ideas from. And for a long time, I would share the posts, like funny yoga stuff. I would share to my stories. And I would get engagement, and lots of people would be like, like message me like, that one hit me or blah, blah, blah. But when Sari, my social media, like, well, I was just going to use a term that's probably not cool, keeps me on the straight and narrow. She's like, and then my phone always thinks I'm talking to her. She keeps me on the straight and narrow. And she's like, I've been looking at your stories. You're getting like 30 views on your reposts. You please stop reposting and start sharing your day. So I'm like, okay. She's like, if you're rolling out your yoga mat, take a picture, post it on your story. When you're starting something, like I really should have, taken a picture of this and then posted on Modern Yoga Teacher, getting ready for and I will do that actually. I'll get 137 views. That's the difference. She's like, you were in the airport and you posted a picture of your feet and said that you love having a business that you can travel with. That got over 400 views, Mom. Post that, not the ha 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 quote that you think is so funny that got 30 views. So people want you, not the recycled stuff. Just throwing that out there. So it's really important to share parts of your day. So I'm going to stop sharing. So the algorithm right now, specifically with Instagram, is Reels. Whenever they drop anything new, they will promote that if you're using it. So right now, what is the thing that they've got going on? See, I don't even know. It's the other one that's on the other side. I don't even know what it's called anymore.
Threads, I think is what it is.
Threads, yes, thank you. That's it. Yeah. So when you post on Threads, that will put you more out there than when you're not using it. To me, it's just another thing I have to use. So it kind of depends. So when she posts for me, then she also posts on Threads for me. It's kind of like part of our deal.
I've never heard of
it.
I know, right? It's like another thing. They had guides for a while. So if you use that, then that would get you more. When Reels came out, if you use the Reels, when you start using stories, like that put you ahead of people that weren't using them. When you are doing something, go live, because it tells the algorithm that you're a content creator, and content is what is their business. So for a while, if you posted more, sometimes 3 to 5 times a day is what got you to the top of the page. Now it's constantly changing. So it's also really helpful to have someone that pays attention. That's why I love having someone that's into the social media telling me what to do, because she stays on top of what the algorithm is doing. So before, you used to have to post 3 to 5 times a day to get up because you were creating content, and the algorithm saw that as you were a content creator, so they would put you up at the top. Basically, it was like you had a job working for Instagram. Now it's not about posting, it's about what you're posting. So the quality of content. So they'll put it out there when you post to like your community. And if it gets a lot of engagement, then they'll take it outside of your community and they'll start showing it to non-followers. So usually that's quality content. So when you're posting, you kind of want to have a rule of thirds, right? You want to be posting parts of you, so personal. You want to be posting educational. And then, so 1/3 is personal, 1/3 is educational, and then 1/3 is promotion. If you're just putting out promotion, you fall to the bottom of the algorithm. They're not putting your stuff out there. And then there's a lot of little things. like when you do a story, if you put a link, an external link, the story will fall in it being shown to people because it's an external link that's taking people outside of Instagram. And they don't want people going outside of Instagram. So when you post a story, like let's say we're doing, modern yoga teacher, business of yoga. If I say sign up here, the sign up here or the link will drop my story in the algorithm. But what I can see my profile for details. And if I say that, then in my profile or my bio, I can have a link to the business of yoga, right? So it's actually directing them back to Instagram. So it will go higher in the algorithm. And these kind of little things are changing all the time. So it's pretty hard to stay up on. So remember I said that my following, like the people that I follow are business. So go in and follow some algorithm experts. Okay. And then when you're scrolling, instead of seeing like, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard or like whatever the new thing is right now, instead of seeing all of that, what you'll see is things that are helpful for business instead of like stalking your ex-partner or his new girlfriend or whatever is happening. Like follow like the algorithm expert. That'll be more beneficial in your life than the ex or the new girlfriend or whatever. And then I like for Frik-shuhn, I follow a lot of meme accounts. And then more recently, what's hitting for the reels are like a 3-second B-roll. So whatever, I could take a picture of it raining right now and it just be like a 3-second clip. And I'll send that to Sarah, my daughter, and she will post some inspirational kind of like yoga thing over top, like green flags. This one just went big. It hit 7,800 people. Green flags of a yoga teacher or something like that. And it's literally me standing there teaching a room full of people and I'm putting my hands out and then it just like pops up like a bunch of different things. So what happens is when someone sees it and it's a 3-second and it's got a lot of words, it will actually replay 3 times. So it counts as 3 views, which will get it out there more. There's so many of these things. It's amazing to me that Sari is so on top of things and knows all these, because a lot of things that she follows, because she does social media, a lot of the accounts that she follows instead of her friends are all algorithm, TikTok algorithm, like things that will help her in her business. So now mine's actually shifting a little bit to more of like the inspirational kind of things that are out there in yoga. For modern yoga teacher, I bought the business and it was run by a man. And so what I was talking about, like thin, white, flexible women were all that he was following. So I'm like getting rid of those. And now what I'm going more to is like the entrepreneurial quotes. Like I really like Gary Vee, right? Jay Shetty, like these kind of people that are entrepreneurs. They're not necessarily specific to yoga, but I also went and started following all the other yoga business coaches out there. I want to see what's hitting for them, right? So that I can recreate my own version of what's hitting for them, because I know they're doing the same thing. Because this is something that they teach you in any of the social media courses that you take. It's like I'm not really into the follow unfollow, which also is no longer hitting. But I don't know if you ever had that where you have like a friend request and you go on and it's like, I don't know this person, but they're like offering what I love. So you follow them and they follow you, right? No, the minute that you followed them, they unfollowed you. It's and that was a huge thing. It was in one of the Instagram courses that I took, was the follow unfollow method. Just go to like, okay, so there's a woman named Amy McDonald and she's a yoga business coach and she's been around as long as I have. So I think she started like 2017 or 2016. So what I would do is like go on her page and then go to who's following her. and then go and follow all of those people. And then they'll see the follow requests and then they'll follow me. And then as soon as I see they follow me, I unfollow them. I never did. I didn't like that. I felt that that was kind of like, ew. And now if you do that, you will actually drop in the algorithm. But before, it got you more followers, so you went higher in the algorithm. Like it's just the amount of things that you can do in TikTok and all and Facebook and Instagram is incredible. There's also like a lot of groups that you can join, right? If I think about like because I want to be inclusive, like LinkedIn, right? If you go to LinkedIn, there is an incredible amount of like community chats that you can join. And so it's also Reddit. If you've ever heard of Reddit, you go into those and then you start posting, like you join like a meditation group, let's say, and then you start posting. You can start by asking questions, but you answer everybody's questions. And it gives you like a badge of like a top fan or like knowledgeable in this. And then I don't know if you can hear that, but that's a lot of thunder. And then they keep seeing your name popping up and you become like an expert in the field. So these are other ways that, you know, to spend your time. Again, all of this takes so much time. You can go into Reddit though, and it will support you in writing out some of your hooks. So let's say, because it does market research for you. You know, you could go on Reddit and say like, yeah, have you been in a car accident and then gone to a yoga teacher for rehab or whatever? And then like if so, what do you think was, I don't know, the best thing the yoga teacher taught you? And then now you've got a bunch of people answering your questions directly. So now you can be like, oh, okay, so this person was in a car accident and broke their leg, and I don't know, you know, like it's whatever, stretching was the most beneficial. So it can help you to create what it is that you're putting out there, but it can also be like, what was it why did you go to yoga instead of to the physiotherapist for your car accident injuries? And then they'll say like something like, I don't know, the teacher, maybe something that the teacher said to you, or they're going to give you your content to post on social media. Really, like, be clear on what you're asking so that you get it from the horse's mouth, what people are looking for and how they got hooked in some of what they were doing. Because sure, you're checking out the tapped market, but there's a whole untapped market of people that haven't yet been in a car accident, that will come to yoga for like come to you for rehab through yoga based on what happened to them. So it'll give you like specific hooks that you can put in your social media, right? And then you want to share your journey. I was in a car accident and I, you know, felt like this was it. Like I really, you know, whatever. And then I went to yoga and literally like healed myself. You can share stories. Like, I don't know if you were taught, you should, since it's SYI, the fact that, you know, BKS Iyengar came to yoga at 28 years of age. His cousin or his uncle, Krishnamacharya, didn't want him to, no, brother-in-law did not want him to come because he was 28 years old. He had tuberculosis and severe scoliosis. He finally gets convinces him to let him in, and he completely cures both his TB and his scoliosis. When he goes to Krishnamacharya goes like, how are you going to keep up with all these 4-year-olds in class? And he creates props. And he uses the props to find proper alignment. And then his body literally aligns because of the yoga postures and the benefits of the postures. So you can also use those kind of stories. That's like a personal kind of approach to get people to realize like, okay, so great, yoga is great for looking this way. Yoga is great for our mental health, but yoga is also specific to healing our bodies physically and mentally. You can also talk about like what you went through mentally when you were down and out or scared, anxiety and driving every time you get in a car after, whatever it is that kind of like hits or resonates for you. Those are ways that you're talking to your client. And then, like I said, if it's a client that like you don't have full on experience with, like you're helping males to increase their testosterone through putting their bare balls in the sun every morning for 20 minutes, like that you can go on to Reddit. It's like something I just learned. I was sharing with my son-in-laws about how to increase their testosterone. You can go on to Reddit and ask a lot of questions around, you know, are you a male that has low testosterone and how did you increase it? And then that maybe, you know, you're not going to take that at face value of like, oh, well, all these people on Reddit taught me, but that will help you to go down further to find more research. And thinking about back to the pick a path, right? What that helps you do to stay on your path is like literally any books that you read, any TV shows that you're going to watch, that like anything that you're doing, you could actually use that time in a way that supports you in building your business. Now, I'm also knowing I'm coming from like workaholism, right? Alcohol was not my only addiction. And workaholism is one that I'm still working with, where I just thought like, I'm not wasting a minute of my day. So I would watch Gaia, and that was Netflix for the spiritually enlightened. So I would watch like documentaries on Kundalini awakening so that when I'm teaching and teacher training, you know, I haven't wasted my time watching what Jennifer did or Housewives of Beverly Hills, which I still do. Then and anything that I was reading was more like chakra based so that I could be like a chakra expert. And that, you know, who do you go to? Anadea Judith or Colin Vosberg, you know, something like that. So it can also help you when you're clear on your path, where you're spending your time, because people procrastinate in two ways, either by completely avoiding and not doing the thing or by perfection. And that was the piece, Amelia, that I think I picked up a little bit from you. It's like imposter syndrome, but also like in order for me to show up, I need to know everything, you know, and be perfect at it before I can start teaching other people about it. And it's just not true. And what it does is it actually helps you to weed out the people that are not your clients. Because if they know more, great. Whew, thank you so much. Bye. Right. And not everybody knows everything. So I also like the idea of everybody as a student. And in every teacher training I've ever taught, I've always learned something, because I don't show up as like the one that knows everything just because I have the, you know, this history in the medical field and then have taught all these teacher trainings. Each teacher training, if I listen, I'm going to learn something else, something new, something I can share that's also going to help my business. It's a lot. There's so much. Our social media section is like a huge portion, and Sari's a big part of Modern Yoga Teacher, and she's going to be offering like one-off calls that's specific of like supporting you in what you're posting. And then she also offers like these for her services at discount based on being, oops. Okay.
There we go.
Thank you. So she also offers like her services at discount based on being associated with Modern Yoga Teacher. So there's lots of ways. I became super frustrated with the whole tech world, because it's like the cost to hire people. You know, it's frustrating. It's like more money, more money, more money, more money. But also, when we aren't spending all of our time doing things that don't make us money, then it actually is quite beneficial, and it creates that I'm forgetting the word where we're all doing what we're meant to do. So I'm always like for people moving into the yoga space from a social media perspective, because I've been frustrated trying to hire people that have yoga experience. Like if I have hired someone, they're usually like they've done yoga, but they're not like a yoga teacher trainer that has spent like, a lot of time researching or taking programs to be clear on like the philosophies. So when they're posting from this place of like knowing. So I love that. I'm always promoting like people to come in with a yogic perspective and be like the spiritual social content manager, the spiritual ads person or something like that, because I think that's what we're lacking now. And it's time for people to like marry. It's okay to be a yogi and be an expert online, because sometimes I think they don't always match. So we've got a lot. I want you to know that that social media is one of the most cost-effective ways to reach and engage your audience. And it's more specific when you're clear on your brand and you're clear on your ideal client. And the more that you show up, the more that you build something called brand loyalty. So creating a space of value, right? Creating a space that's more about a community than selling your products or your services. Like I said, we've got 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3 is promotion of offering what you have, but the other 2/3 is creating and providing value, right? It's from your own perspective, so that people well, first of all, know you're a human. They know you're not perfect. And so also, Amelia, I was just thinking about you going live and being like, this is my first live and I feel so awkward. Thank you. Just being done. And like, you did it. Yes. Okay. Now this is like teaching your first class. It's like, you have to do it.
Exactly.
Right?
That's like a big thing that's a block for me too, is I have it scheduled to teach my first class, but I haven't done it yet. So I'm like, well, how can I possibly market all of this when I am like still scared to actually do my offering? You know what I mean? So I think once I get past that hurdle, I feel like all of this will start like settling in more and be like, oh, well, see, you already did the big thing you have to do. Now just, so I think that'll be helpful. But
yeah.
And just like not being scared of like other people's judgments, because like, why do we care so much what they think anyway,
Yeah.
You just gotta do it. Yeah.
Right?
Do it and don't think about it.
Yeah. Put yourself out there. And if you haven't read the book, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, I recommend right. And one of the agreements is don't take anything personal. Right? Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So, if you're mean to people and you say crappy things about other people, it's because you think that you're a crappy person and, you don't love yourself. So when trolls are on the internet saying mean things about you, then it's really just a reflection of them. It's not you.
Absolutely.
Right? And it does, it's funny because that was a weird sound. It sounds like screaming. I can have a million likes and loves and people tell me that, I'm awesome. And then I'll have one person that says like, I suck, and I'll just fixate on that. And I remember my coach telling me, I had someone get super mad at me in yoga class. They literally like threw their mat, they slammed the door. And she was like, I'm so happy to hear this because it means that you're actually putting yourself out there, right? Because I'm like neutral, middle of the road, people pleaser, chameleon, right? What do you need to hear from me so you like me? That means if someone just lost their shit on me because I said something spiritual in class, then that means I'm putting out there a little bit of me, as opposed to doing like, you know, what I think I should do. I'm being authentic. And I remember hearing that, and it didn't make it better at the time. But I have more recently heard her now, all these years later, like, oh yeah, that's right. When I have resistance, that means I am putting myself out there. In fact, it means I'm taking a stance on something, and not everybody's going to like it.
That's very true.
Right? And that'll be helpful. If people unfollow me, cool. That means like, great. Then like I'm attracting the people that I want in my community and eliminating or repulsing the ones that I'm not meant to be around. It's nothing personal. It's just like, great, moving on. My coach told me, like, get your nose out of the way as quickly as you can. And again, I didn't hear her then because I was taking everything, every no was so personal. It was literally saying no to me and my value as a person. And now I just realized, like, actually, like, yeah, here's what it costs to work with me. And like, okay, great. That's a no for you. Let's move on so that I can like talk to the next person that's willing to do the work, to create the funds, to work with me, for themselves, honestly, for them. Not for me. I realize, oh, they're not ready to show up for themselves. Okay, cool. Perfect. That helps me. Because I want people that are ready to like show up for themselves. Yeah.
I also feel like I relate to you a lot where you keep talking about like the people pleasing part of things. Like I relate to that a lot. And I'm like actively trying to kind of unlearn that right now myself, but it does really translate over to business a lot of the time too. So I'm happy that you're bringing that up because it's like a very much like a personal, like how you interact with like your close relationships, but also very much like how you interact with other people in the world. So I'm glad you're bringing that up.
Yeah. Yeah. I almost have the opposite in my life too. Like my sister is just like, she'll just tell you. It's like, it's not that she doesn't care. It's that she cares enough to like not please you. And my partner is the same. He'll like just be like, no, and we're done. And like that's that. And while I see like there's some work on that end of things too, right? Avoidant attachment style. It's like I can learn a lot from it's exhausting to people please.
It really is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So I'm just tallying our monies for the month. Like, do we have to hire an accountant? Like, I just don't know that business aspects from that end of the scale, like how to keep track of everything.
Yeah. Oh, the accounting. I have more recently started doing my own accounting.
Okay.
Lots of time, lots of energy. QuickBooks Online can be really helpful for like self-employed business owners. Again, another subscription. But for years and years, I have had accountants doing, I'm like, that's not my thing. Here you go. My partner is actually like supporting me in kind of taking that, because I think also, again, another thing where I'm like, people overcharge. I feel like now that I'm doing my own accounting and I'm seeing where my accountant was not really showing up for me, and I spent a lot of money and of like, yeah, I feel, yeah, a little bit unhappy with having hired the person that I had hired for some time. And it takes a lot of time to be keeping the books. So you are an independent contractor as a yoga teacher. So your mileage to and from any kind of training, your mileage to and from your work, if you have clients, those are things that you want to keep track of. In your home, if you're offering anything in your home, you can take a percentage depending on if you own your home, right? If you have an office, you need to do the square footage of your office to the square footage of your house. And then that's like a percentage of your electricity, your mortgage, like all your water, your heating. you just, once you know, like that's 30% of your house, right? I had like a bedroom, an office, and a yoga studio. So I think it was actually 60% of my house. I could write off all of those things. You can write off a good portion, if not all, of your cell phone bill, right? When it's used for work. And then, yeah, it gets a little dicey. Like some people like to write off their clothes, right? But that means that you better not be using your clothes anywhere else. They like to write off their pedicures because it is important to have nice feet when you're teaching. But then does that mean that you like take off your pedicure as soon as you're done teaching? No. So some of these things can get you in trouble a little bit. So I tend to go on the like, that's fine. I'll just get a pedicure for myself. And when I'm buying clothes, if it's something that I'll use in like ceremony or teaching only, I'll write it off. But you know, not like a pair of yoga pants. When you travel, you can write off pretty much everything, your meals, you know, if it has to do with something to do with your business. So I'm making sure that wherever I go and whatever I do, I'm posting on social media.
Right.
My business pays for, I have an incorporation, right? So you have to also think about the fact that like, well, incorporation it's expensive. Unless you're making, I think well over $100,000 a year, you probably don't want to incorporate, but there is the opportunity to have an LLC. Okay. So there is an opportunity to create something called an LLC off of like being a sole proprietor. Because when you're a sole proprietor, basically you own the business and it goes on your personal taxes. That actually puts up everything that you own for grabs. So if somebody was going to sue you, then they could go after your house and your car and like anything you own. So to have an LLC creates an entity. And then if somebody was to go after you, they could only go after your entity and whatever's owned by your business. So just little side things to talk, you know, to talk to your accountant about or anything like that. You know, when you're not making a lot of money, then you would maybe just go get some help with your taxes and keep all of your receipts and they can guide you. Actually, you're in a Soyuz. One of the businesses that my sister owns is a bookkeeping company, and she's really great at like the entrepreneur part of things. So if you want, you could look up T&M bookkeeping services, and she's in Kamloops.
Bookkeeping.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
And this is why I've like moved from using accountants to my sister's actually coaching me on how to do my own books now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
And
I've always
she
been good with numbers too, right?
Yes.
So
And she offers bookkeeping for like an acceptable cost as opposed to like what I was paying before. I just had these kind of like boundaries around family because I don't really want to have like business issues with my family,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. So that's why I had accountants outside of my family, but like she's helping me do my own books, which is very helpful. And she does books and she's amazing. And she works with an accountant that also helps with like corporate taxes and stuff like that. So if
Okay.
that's interesting to you, you can always talk to her or anyone else that
Just to get the ball rolling and
yeah.
then
Yeah, because they'll tell you, okay, here's what's a write-off, here's what's not a write-off. Yeah, yeah, because there's lots and then there's like percentages. Like if you go out and you like talk about your business, right? Now that's like that could be entertainment and then you can write off half of that. But it falls into like, but you can't have alcohol. And then if you take someone out and you're wanting to work with them, that's advertising. Like there's
Wow,
yeah.
Lots to learn. Yeah.
Default on keeping receipts because you can always throw them away and just file them under certain things like gas or this or that.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And then I want to make sure that I answer your website question as well, because that one was important.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So like I said, I would put website kind of like to the back burner of social media, but like to have somewhere for them to go to see like where are you offering stuff and like where is you in like one click. Right? So that's where the website comes in. Now there's many options. WordPress is like the most professional.
Sorry, which?
WordPress.
WordPress.
It's also, in my experience, one of the hardest ones to use. I have WordPress for both of the company, for both of the companies, and I Am Blessed is on Shopify because it's a product-based business. So Shopify it's very integrated. We are really looking at like being online more than anything. So that's really helpful for I Am Blessed. For Modern Yoga Teacher and Frik-shuhn, I decided with Frik-shuhn to put my course platform on my website so that I'm not paying any fees other than the plugin on my website. So that could have sound like blah, 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 blah to you, or you knew what I was talking about. Okay. Okay. So something that's super easy, super user-friendly is Wix. And Wix, if you do like the free version, I think it just looks cheap. And it's got like, powered by Wix on it. And then you can do like the paid version, which I think is like $100 and something, and you can create it. What I know is that website people know when you've created your own and they don't think it looks good. But like other people that aren't website people, they like what they like. So I've had like, when I did my own Wix, I had people be like, that's amazing. And then I've had website people be like, that looks like crap. So I hired out my websites to other people. Even we had to rechange like all of Modern Yoga because it had Ryan all over it. And he had a team of 26 people working for him. So it had like a lot on there. And the testimonials all say like Ryan, Ryan, Ryan. So we've had to change everything. And to be honest, like I'm aware of how to use the plugins now to like create the graphics and I do not have the time or the energy. It takes me days to do a landing page. Like the landing page that you came to actually didn't take as much, but the one that for the 3-day workshop, it took me so many days, probably 6. And then I had people go on and tell me all the things I needed to change. So it's like even all that time and energy, there's like a million things to pick apart on it. So it to me, it takes a lot of time and energy, and I would rather pay somebody to do that. So like aliens. It's like aliens are here. I've never heard these like wow. Here's what I'm thinking, by the way. So it's yay. So there's actually a gentleman in a Soyuz, by the way, that I hired to do the Modern Yoga Teacher website change. And his name is Julian at Hedgehog Designs.
Okay.
And he has been a dream to work with. That is not my experience of most website people. I have a gentleman in Chilliwack that is responsible for Frik-shuhn from the beginning, basically, after my own Wix. He created my WordPress and then he upgraded it a couple years ago because it's so big now because I run all my courses through it. And he's been much more expensive. He's great. And Julian's been like very responsive, like very on top of things. So Julian's been a dream to work with. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. And he's a graphic designer as well. So he could also help with your logo. And he's trying to start a print shop in a Soyuz. And he works at the French restaurant, whatever the name of that place is.
Oh, okay. I'd
Yeah.
have to think. I'm new to here too. So.
Okay. Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just some, it's funny. No more people in a Soyuz. Now through Rochelle, she like she helps me with like so much stuff, and she has quite a network there. So she would be like a good person to like connect with.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so the
Mm.
website part, like I said, I would personally hire someone out if you have the funds, but like also if you don't, then do it yourself with the Wix. Pay the upgrade though. I think it's like you get back what you put in. So every dollar that you put into your business is going to come back to you threefold minimum. So it's the initial output can be like, but it'll come back to you. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then say if I started my business here and I change my location, can I change that website down the road, like to Victoria, if I change there?
Yeah,
I
totally.
go there, yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
It will
Right.
come with you. You just will
Right.
change like some of the address parts.
okay.
Yeah.
Perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So right now it's 37. And we have the option to come back for a question and answer, or 1 second. If it's not the internet, it's me swallowing a bug. Like a
Sounds
little
good.
fly. So I could check and see, like, do you guys have any more questions? Should we come back? Should we stay on and finish up? How are you all feeling?
Is like our next section just question and answers?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, whatever you guys are up for. I'd be okay to do it now though.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm gonna get some water really quick.
Okay, great. Well, let's continue then. That sounds great. So I will just do like a quick little side note, like an orientation thing. I'm uploading these to YouTube, creating a Google Sheet, and then I will send out the link to re-access the recordings just in case you wanted to tomorrow, because again, the uploads is very slow here. So it'll take me till tomorrow to have all the videos up, but you can come back and access them. I'll send an email this evening. You'll also get an offer email this evening that's already scheduled and going to go out at some point. So those are just a couple things to note. So what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to press stop